Well, it's a great day if you're an Australian fan, a poor day if you're an Indian fan, because Australia have just dominated the last two sessions of play, and it looks like they already have one hand on the Test Championship mace. So let's get straight to the big question there, the toss. Did Rohit Sharma make the right decision to drop Ashwin and bowl first? In my opinion, on both counts, he did make the right call. Firstly, because Ashwin, it's not like Jadeja has been getting a lot of spin. It's not like the surface is, getting Jadeja or any spinner heap loads of help and turn and spin. So I don't think Ashwin would have made a huge difference today. With regards to the toss, I think there's always merit to bat first in any test match, in any high pressure game. But when you saw it was a green pitch, when you saw it was overcast conditions, maybe get some quick wickets up front, it could have well been the right decision for India. And we saw in the first session, Australia were really struggling. They had a lot of false shots, didn't have a very high control percentage. Warner and Labuschagne, well, they nearly got out a lot of times. Labuschagne got hit on the thumb by Siraj. Khwaja got out for a duck. And I think Australia were really lucky in that session to not be 3 or 4 down at the end of lunch. Because let me tell you, that new ball spell was phenomenal from India. Shami and Siraj were absolutely on it. But somehow Australia survived that assault, and that set up their domination for the rest of the day. Huge credit to Warner there. I think when you look at the scorecard just tells you, oh, Head 138, Smith 95. It doesn't tell you that Warner scored 43 of 60 balls, Labuschagne played 60 odd balls. They blunted the new ball. They are the ones who actually set up the platform for Australia, who tired out the Indian fast bowlers, and who made sure that by the time Smith and Head came in, conditions were much easier to bat. So I think huge credit goes to Labuschagne and Warner. The way they batted, absolutely brilliant. And after that, Head and Smith just took the game away from India. So let's talk a little bit about the Indian bowling. Firstly, I think they're really missing Bumrah and Ishant here. Really unfortunate injury for Bumrah. And Shami and Siraj haven't really been able to step up in their shoes after the new ball session. Siraj has probably been the pick of the bowlers, I'd say, although it's not a very good pick to pick from, because all of them have an economy above 3. Jadeja has an economy really high as well, so it's not like the spinner can contain runs any better than the pacers. And this is very bleak for India, because Australia are looking to bat them out of the game right now. And if Australia cross 500, 550, it's going to be really difficult for India to make a comeback in this game. So they need wickets. But what can they do? How should India get Travis Head out? Well, if you look at his scoring chart, Head has been mainly scoring in the cover region, in the offside, and I think they need to cut out that region completely. I think perhaps, even if it's a very defensive tactic, but a leg theory sort of field, move all the fielders to the leg side, keep bowling at the leg side. Doesn't matter if you can't get him out, at least stem the flow of runs, limit the damage. That's the first step India need to take. With regards to Smith, they've done that. They haven't allowed him to score too freely, strike rate of 41. But the key thing for Australia is he is there. He's still there after 220 plus balls, and that is very ominous as well from India. So what else can India do to come back into this encounter? I think it's not that bad for them, to be honest, because, well, batting is their strength, and it's a flat pitch, and they do still have to bat. If they can also rack up 350, 400 runs, they're going to be right back in it. But the main thing is they don't need to actually beat Australia. A draw for India is enough. Both the teams are going to get the ICC trophy either ways if it's a draw, which I think is a stupid rule, frankly. I think if it's a draw, there should be some sort of tiebreaker. Either you give the trophy to the team which finished high in the league stage, or you have any sort of tie-breaking event. I don't think sharing the trophy is the correct decision, but that's what the ICC rules state. So India need to be clear. They need to know that even if we can't beat Australia, we simply need to draw the game, and they need to focus on that, because if Australia bat time, they get to 500, 550, India need to bat time and just draw the game. That should be their main goal for now. Let's talk a little bit about Australia's batting though, because it was absolutely phenomenal. Smith, he exploited the leg side really well, as he always does. England is almost his second home. He scored tons of runs here and moved across the mid-wicket area, was his highest scoring region, and simply looked really difficult to get him out. Head as well. The key thing about Head is not just the number of runs, but the strike rate, because he took the pressure off of Steve Smith, who was scoring at a pretty low strike rate, playing himself in, and he managed to take the attack to India, put the pressure back on the bowlers, and that's why their shoulders started to droop. So these are, I think, the main things both the teams need to think about. For Australia, they also need to know their bowling attack is probably much better than India's on paper. So even if India's bowling attack can't attack too much or can't extract too much help from this surface, maybe Stark and Cummins will manage to get a bit more swing and seam and help. So that's all from this. Australia firmly in command. India still have the chance to bounce back if they can get Australia out for 450 or anything below that, but they do have the chance to get the draw, and I think Australia will ideally like to, it'll feel better for them to win this trophy outright rather than have to share it with India. So that's probably going to be their main goal over the next 4 days. Let's see what happens. Let's see what this encounter has for us in store. That's all from the Cricketing Hour.